Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to our webinar. I'm Michael and Trevor Toll, the Marketing Manager for Solution Systems Inc. Today we have customers and others attending this webinar, so just a bit about Solution Systems before we begin. We are located in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, and we have been in business for 35 years providing software, IT infrastructure, and web development to organizations in the Chicagoland area, as well as Wisconsin, Indiana, and the Midwest region. We are a Gold Certified Microsoft partner. We sell, implement, and support an ERP software called Microsoft Dynamics NAV. NAV is a business accounting software that is geared toward manufacturers, distributors, and service companies. We also sell, implement, and support CRM as well as outsource IT services to our customers. Today we are very fortunate to have Rick Baxter with us from Cost Control Software, and he will be conducting this overview. So I'm going to pass it over to him so we can get started with that.
Hello everyone, thank you for attending today's webinar. The topic of the webinar will be 5 cool add-on features for NAV 2013. This is going to be a list of features and functionality that have been developed for the Dynamics NAV 2013 client, and they are add-on features, so products that we've developed to enhance and improve the functionality and usability of Dynamics NAV 2013. So I appreciate everyone making it on time for this webinar. To give everyone an idea of what we're going to be covering today, on your or on the website costcontrolsoftware.com, you can download the document that I have open in front of me, which is the study guide. It's very simple. It has just an overview of some of the products that we are going to cover today, as well as contact information and the ability to link to the webinar replay for this webinar that we're showing today. The topics or the features, the 5 cool add-on features for 2013 are going to be number 1, Business Snapshot Plus, and this will be a easy-to-use business intelligence tool. I'll explain more about it as we go into it. I'm going to spend about 10 minutes on each of the 5 features that we have to show today, and that'll leave time at the end for a Q&A session to answer any questions. And again, you can ask your questions through the webinar Q&A box, but understand that I will be reviewing those at the end of today's session, not throughout. So bear that in mind. Do ask your questions as they come up, and I will address them toward the end of the webinar. So if I keep scrolling down, number 2, the second cool feature, and again these aren't in any particular order, is word wrap comments. And so we hear a lot of people that use NAV run into a character limit on the description field, on a comment field, header comments, customer comments, vendor comments, different areas of the system. So word wrap comments is a free-form text entry that you can use in many of those comment sections. It's very easy to add that to your database. So if you're using NAV 2013 already, or if you have an older version of NAV, reach out to us. That's a really easy product to get added to a database. The third product we're going to talk about is the visual drag and drop scheduling. This is an embedded scheduling tool right within the Dynamics NAV client. I'm going to show both interfaces today, one the embedded version of it and where you can access it, as well as the browser-based access point for that. Now that's a big product. It usually takes me an hour, hour and a half to present it, so I'm going to try to squeeze that down into about 10 minutes. So we'll get a little high-level view of that, and then you can follow up with more questions as they come up. The fourth on our list, pop-up notes. This is a reminder tool. It's also an upsell tool. So whenever you're entering a customer on a document, either a sales document, if it's a vendor, it might be a purchase document, you might want a reminder to pop up. We're going to look at some of the examples of what that might be. It's also an upsell tool. So if you are in the process of taking phone orders, or you're at a counter and you're entering a sales document, you may want a reminder to pop up that if someone buys product A, they should also probably buy product B, or they go hand in hand. So upsell tool there to be able to make sure that the person taking the order is able to provide that information to the person making the purchase. And then lastly, we're going to talk about our 2013 training DVDs. There are quite a few of them, both for 2013 and for older versions of Dynamics NAV. And we're going to try to focus on the 2013 version of that today and cover some more information on who should use those, when are they valuable, and obviously the question is everyone should use them and they're always valuable. But we'll discuss why once we get to that section. So without further ado, I am going to jump right into the software. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the Dynamics NAV 2013 client. So that's what I'm in. This is the screen you see when you first access Dynamics NAV. It is very much a Microsoft product, so you have your menu and a submenu, and then as you click through, the window over here is going to change. It's also a Microsoft product in that it has features that are very similar to the modern Microsoft Outlook and Microsoft Word and Excel, where you can right-click on certain aspects of the system and collapse the ribbon, expand it back out. You can say customize the ribbon and pick and choose what you want displayed, what tab you want it displayed on, that sort of thing. So you can see Home, Actions, Report are available there. So making it very easy to use the software, easy to personalize it based on your personal user roles. That's what Dynamics NAV is all about, and where they're going in the future is making it so that the information is very role-specific, user-specific. So each user will personalize the screen, make it look and feel the way they want so that they can most efficiently use the system. Now in my case, in this database, I am logged in as a job manager. Many of you know Cost Control Software is a job costing organization. We provide products and tools to enable manufacturers and service organizations to get true actual job costing out of the system. So that's the role center I'm in. It's the one I present with just about every time I open up the NAV client. So that's why you see information on the screen related to that. Now, unfortunately, today I'm not showing Job Manager. I'm going to show the 5 other cool features that NAV 2013 has to offer. So first on the list, Business Snapshot Plus. Who is this product good for? So who should be paying attention right now? The question for that is everyone. This is a very easy to use business intelligence tool. Requires very little setup and provides a lot of information out of the system that you already have in the database today. You just need a way of collecting the information and providing it to you in a way that you can digest the information. So when I click Business Snapshot, and I did click on it through departments, but you could have had it added to your menu if you needed to. Business Snapshot, this is a list of all of the quote-unquote snapshots that I've taken. And over time, you're going to have a huge list of snapshots here. So what I like to do is view it as a chart. And that way you can see the ups and downs, the roller coaster, if you will, of what's going on in the business. Now, we do have a flat line for the cost, the cash decreases. That's simply because this is a demo database. There's demo data that doesn't change that often, especially as it relates to cash decreases. But the chart here is just a view of all of the snapshots you've taken. That's a 2013 feature to be able to show a list of information as a chart. And then you pick the measures. So I picked the 3 that were relevant to me by a particular snapshot date. And with 2013 and some of the additional cool features, I can drag on the chart, highlight a section, and let go, and that's going to zoom in for me. Okay, so now that's not a business snapshot feature, that's a NAV 2013, but we use the same technology. So it is a product embedded within the client. Everything I'm going to show today is embedded within Dynamics NAV. So there's no mismatch, there's no connection back and forth between disparate systems. It's all one place. And so I can always go and reset the zoom and come back. Now that's a nice little NAV chart feature, but what I want to show about Business Snapshot is the individual snapshot. So I'm going to just double click on one of them, and it's going to open up the snapshot for me. Now this is looking at cash on hand, so this is our cash forecast tab. So I have my cash, bank checking, bank operations. So if there are several accounts we're pulling from, this is the information that's in those accounts. And then I have percentages telling me how much is in each one. So less than 1%, 1%, and then 99% in my operations cash. Total that up, and we have just over $400,000 in current cash. So that's a look at where we are today. If I scroll down a little bit, we have our current AR, 30 days out AR, 60 days, 90 days, and over 90 days. So this is our accounts receivable balances, again, drawn from other parts of the system, simply displayed here. And then we have percentages here. These percentages are entered by you. So these are related to your company, your receivables and how often you get them, your industry and what your standards are. So if you don't have this information, you can enter it as you think you see it from history. And always adjust them. It's not set in stone, but these control how it calculates what's coming in. So this is our current AR, all right, today at the time of the snapshot. Then based on how much is that we say that we're going to receive in, so current AR, we're going to receive in 30% of this $34,000. So that comes out to be $10,000. That's just 1% of what we expect to receive in overall. Anything that's 30 days out, we receive more of that, about 80%, 90% of the 60 days out. So those calculate higher over here, so they give us a bigger amount. So this is, again, defined by you. Anything over 90 days, usually a less collection opportunity there, and then open sales orders, so things that may ship an invoice and then still be collected on within the next 30 days. So again, this is a cash forecast for 30 days. So a total increase, if I total these up, is $999,000, so just shy of $1 million. So that's great. That's a lot of money coming in. But let's take a look at also what's going out. So what are our cash decreases? So we have vendor AP. This is our payables balances. What are we going to pay out of that? So about 40% is the number we have in here. That could be higher or lower depending on your company. And then open purchase orders. Again, purchase orders that we have committed to a vendor, they may invoice us this month and then we pay that. So less likelihood of that happening, so that's at 10%. So those numbers help generate what's going out. And then we have other disbursements. This makes up the rest of what goes out. So this is your office space rental or business mortgage or payroll, utilities, all those overhead costs that go into a business. This is what that number makes up. So again, that's just keyed in, and you can change it at any point in time to reflect differently as the business changes. So we total those up and we get just shy of $500,000. So to total up the totals, we have $400,000 cash on hand today. We have $1 million coming in from our cash increases, and we have $500,000 going out. So we have a difference there of about $500,000. So you take 409 plus 500,000, you get 922,000. So that's the rough math there. Obviously, I rounded some things up. And so that's a big chunk of Business Snapshots, being able to see this information at an instant, and it's in real time. So as soon as you take that snapshot, this information is updated. So some people take snapshots several times a day. Other people take a snapshot once a day or once a week. Hopefully you're not waiting once a month or longer. You want to see this information so that you can start seeing trends and what's happening within the business. Again, all going back to that chart view of the list so you can see how your business is doing across the calendar year there. There are a lot of other tabs. Again, I said I would commit about 10 minutes to each product, so I'm not going to go through each of these, but these are key business ratios that most people want to know about. So things that relate to inventory, debt ratios, business margins and returns, a lot of key calculations happening here that you can then all report on. So we do have a printed version of this that you could print a report on that shows a lot of this information just in a print form. And then again, fact boxes, same NAV technology to allow quick view of the data. So that's Business Snapshot. That's not all of it. There's more where I can see business trends, business projections, sales history, balance sheet. I can't go through everything today. If you are interested in what we've seen so far, follow up with us, shoot us a question in our webinar question and answer session so we know to follow up with you. When this webinar does end, make sure you notify us that you're interested in Business Snapshot. It's a great product. We can install it and have it set up within 1 to 2 hours. So it goes in very, very quickly and starts providing that value instantly. So definitely a great product, and that's why it made our cool feature list. So that's Business Snapshot. So I'm going to come back to my Role Center, and we're going to start right into the next product, and that would be word wrap comments. Again, this is for the scenario where if I go to a sales order, and I'll just pick one that's in the system here, I have a custom material handling item on the line. Okay, so now I can turn this line into a comment line below it, and I can start entering information. So if I just start typing, and I'm going to just type in a bunch of junk, eventually I'm going to hit the character limit. So you may not be able to hear it, but as I'm typing here, it's dinging in my headset saying, nope, you've hit your character limit, you can't type anymore. Now I'd have to go down to the next line, start typing. Not a big deal when you're entering in just a sentence, but if you're copying in a paragraph or you're pulling information from another system and you want to dump it in here very quickly, it's going to truncate a lot of that if it even lets it paste at all. So what I want to do, and I'm going to come in, just delete that line. Now I don't have to. I ought to just let me just page down, find a sales order with additional lines. Okay, so here's one with 2 items. I wanted to show this for the example today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my hotkey to pop up my word wrap window. And so what I've done is I was on this with door, so that's the with door up here in my my comment box. So this is the description field, but now it's in a free-form window. Okay, so now I could either type a lot of information and it'll just start wrapping it around, or I can just press enter and I can put in little marks and say door with glass, 2 hinges. So just descriptive information about it. Stained color, cherry. Okay, so not very creative there, but you get the idea. Now I hit enter to get to the next line. So what I want that to do when I hit OK is spread that information across the lines below it as comment lines and have that move everything else that is below the initial line down. So when I hit OK, it now says door with glass, 2 hinges, stained color cherry. So exactly what I typed in. You'll notice it created the insert lines, or sorry, it inserted the comment lines below the line that it related to. Now I can always hit the F6 button, go right back up to that window and type information again. But maybe I move on to the next one and I want to come up here, and instead of showing you where you hit enter, I'll just type in some more information, show you the wrapping around capability. So door with 3 hinges and maple color with 2 drawers. Okay, so I don't know if that makes sense or not, but the idea here is that you just freeform type into here, and whenever you hit OK, it's going to move the information down to the next line. Well, maybe I don't like the way that looks. I like it better when it was up top. Well, I can always, again, jump back into it, come up here, press enter, put in my information, so get rid of the and, it would just move that down to the next line. Get rid of the with, again, next line, and then hit OK. So it's going to track all of the changes and move the information back down. So now we have a nice clean unit with 3 hinges, maple color, and 2 drawers. So that's word wrap comments. Now I'm doing that here on a sales document, okay, in the description line. If I was in the header comments, I could do the same thing. If I was in the line comments, so not just a comment line, but the actual comment section of a line so that it's not displayed on the sales order, I could do that. And again, we're on the sales document. This could be on a purchase document, sales quote, sales invoice, purchase quote, purchase order, customer header comments, vendor comments, sales, any of the document comments area expanded into job comments. I mean, anywhere in the system that there is a comment field, you can have word wrap comments added. So what we've seen people do, we're very focused around jobs, job comments. So they actually put a description of the activity that needs to happen. So rules that people need to follow in addition to the actual job tasks. And so they'll paste in this big description and then key in certain requirements to it in the header comments of the job. And then that prints on their job traveler so that they have easy access to that information. People enter the same kind of freeform comments in a service order, because the service order, you typically want to provide more information about what actually happened than just saying, oh, well, I used a side panel. Well, you want to explain how you used the side panel, why you used it, what was broken, what did you have to fix, so all related to the service that happened on that service order. So that's a place where people use this word wrap comments. So again, pretty small product as far as like the footprint that it has. You just simply add a little bit of code to each of the comment sections that you want to use. Now it's going to come out of the box with quite a few of the sections covered. So some that I covered, the customer header, or customer comments, vendor comments, sales documents, purchase documents. A lot of those are already going to have it ready to go. And then if you use service order management, you can add it there. If you use jobs, you can add it there. Manufacturing, production orders, tooling. I mean, all of that information, inventory, items, and comments. Anywhere there's comments within NAV, this can be added to use it there. And again, I showed it where you just keyed in information. You could always copy and paste from a Word document or from an email, so you're tracking additional blocks of information through a cut and paste without losing any of the information. It didn't truncate anything. I didn't lose any of the information I keyed in. It just expanded it across the lines. And then the extended text, if you're familiar with it, that's what controls how it gets displayed on sales documents and the actual printed reports and stuff like that. So we make use of NAV functionality to make these products work. So that's it. That's what I'll cover on the word wrap comments. Again, great product. If you have questions on it, more information needed, send me an email, leave a question for me in the Q&A section. We will follow up with you and get you some more information on that. So I'm going to go right back to my Role Center. All right, the next one's a big one. So maybe I'll give 15 minutes to this one. We'll see. This is visual drag and drop scheduling. So this is really going to be targeted towards manufacturing. So if you don't do manufacturing today, I apologize. This really isn't a cool feature for you. But maybe you use jobs, and there is a very similar scheduling tool for jobs. A little bit different functionality. So the one I'm going to show today is the manufacturing scheduler, but there is one for jobs as well. So keep that in mind that they are different. I'd be happy to talk to you about those differences and which one would apply to you and how you would use it. So without more than that, I'm going to go ahead and park this and pull up a slightly different database and click on Planner 1 Desktop. So this is, again, the NAV client. And now I'm viewing within the client. So this is embedded within the NAV client. I'm now looking at a scheduling dashboard. So if you don't know what a scheduling dashboard is, it's a way to view all of the machines that you want to track within the database, so within your shop environment. This could be people, could be actual machines, any number of things. And then what is the load on those machines? So what is their capacity and what is their load? And the load being, do they have an operation assigned to them? What work are they going to be performing out in the shop? This is a visual representation of that. So if I look at my display, I have it by week, and I have a certain color shown here. So I have the advanced delay color shown. What that is telling me as far as the colors is that this particular operation that's in dark green, and it's just one. Let me go ahead and put on my highlight the work order. This particular operation is in dark green. So are all of the others that are related to it and linked to it. So these 4 operations, that makes up one production order. Now, you may have 10 operations on a production order. You may have 1. But each little sticker, so that little green one, this little green one, as I click through them, each one of these represents one operation on a production order. And it includes both the setup time and the run time, so the full load of that operation assigned to that machine. So in this case, this operation right here is assigned to Brian Walton. The one down here is assigned to CNC machine number 3. Linda has some work, and Mike has some work. So that's the flow of that production order. So it's going to have some work done, it looks like towards the end of the day on Wednesday. Then on Friday, Brian's going to take over and do some work. And I'm showing a very simple example where it's very serial. This one happens, and later that one happens, and this one. I could have these all slammed together with a end-start type relationship, so that this one has to start as soon as this one ends. I don't have that. I have that this one has to finish before this one, but they don't have to start and end at the same time. I also could run things in parallel, so I could have this linked to one of these operations that both have to complete before this one starts. So I'm not showing those examples fully capable of that. This is a very robust scheduling tool. But I'm only showing it in a very simplistic manner, and so you can kind of see all of the links there. And I hope I'm making it clear that this is a visual representation of data that's happening in NAV. So your NAV production orders are containing operations, and those operations are then displayed here in the order that they're happening across the machines that they're happening on. And so that is what you're seeing. These are all of the operations across the production orders that I have in my system. Now there's a lot of gaps here. It is demo data, so there's not a lot of production orders happening in this environment, but you at least get an idea of what's happening. Other information that is on here is I can change the look and feel. So a scheduler may say, oh, well, I want to see it by item. So all the purple ones are probably the same item. The ones that are green are a different item, yellow a different item. You control what color is assigned to each item. You can do it by work order, which is really the production order, and you can assign colors to all that. So however you want to see the information, whatever makes sense to you and your scheduler is how you display it. And the person sitting right next to you could look at it a different way. I happen to like the idea of viewing the schedule as far as what's on time and what's late. So all the green ones, those are on time, and the yellow and orange ones, a little different, brighter color, lets me know that that one's late. So that's just a different view of the production orders within the system and how they're displayed here on the production scheduling board. Now, as I said, I'm viewing it from an embedded within the Dynamics NAV client through the actual scheduling desktop. Now, I could also look at it through capacities. So for a particular work center, I can expand out the Planner 1 tab, and I can see that same Gantt chart. Now, I can adjust it so that it mirrors what we were looking at before, so that you know it's the same thing. But I have full control over it when I'm looking at it from a specific work center. Now, work center is showing me the full chart, okay? But what if I'm on a machine center? Maybe it'll be a slightly different view. So if I'm looking at it through Mike's eyes and I expand the Planner 1 tab, now I'm seeing it as far as what work Mike needs to do and in what order, what quantity. I control all the information that's displayed here, what he's making, what production order it relates to, all of that information. But I'm viewing it from the actual machine center card, so a different access point instead of just looking at the overall Planner 1 desktop board. Now again, This is embedded within Dynamics NAV, so it's all reading the same information. But I want to show you the web view. So NAV takes up a good chunk of my screen here. If I park that and I pull up Internet Explorer, I'm now looking at that same scheduling board, but within an internet browser. So I'm showing it with Internet Explorer, Microsoft obviously, but you can look at it through Safari, Mozilla, Chrome, whatever browser you want to use for it. It's just displaying the information. We're not actually looking over the internet at the schedule. This is all on a network. So this is looking at my local laptop here for this information. But as long as it's access to the network, you don't have to have the NAV client open to view the schedule or to make changes to it. So as I make changes to it, it is drag and drop, so I can come through and say, well, let's move this operation out here. Let's grab another one, try to dump this earlier on in the schedule, see what kind of conflicts we have. What happens if we move this up? Oh, it might not allow me because it's linked to something else. And just to show you that portion of it, this operation, I tried to move it forward, but there's something else related to this that is causing it not to go forward. So that could be a material that's not going to come in until the 27th, so it starts on the 28th. So it takes into account material availability. If there was a sub-assembly work order that needed to complete before this one started, it would show me those kind of connections so that it honors it in the schedule. So it's not going to allow me to start something when I really can't start it early. So that's just a point there. Now we've created some gaps, so we didn't do a very good job as a scheduler. So maybe I want to have the system make some recommendations to me. As a scheduling tool should, this has a scheduling algorithm behind it. Now you have some control over it. The way I have it set up today is just to show me the best optimal use, and by that I mean it is going to try to complete as many production orders before its due date as possible and try to fill in these little gaps to make sure those machines are running at as close to 100% capacity as possible. And I will note that all these machines are tracked in finite capacity, so it's not going to stack up or overload machines. It has a capacity. It's going to try to maximize that capacity. So I'm going to use schedule from, and I'm going to set a frozen period of just 1 day. So I didn't make any changes to anything happening on Wednesday. Everything else is fair game. So the scheduler can move stuff into Wednesday, but it's not allowed to move any of the previously scheduled operations. So if you're not sure what a frozen period is, I can explain that in more detail if we're going through a scheduling session in more detail. So again, it closed up some of the gaps, made the schedule more optimal, and tried to finish more production orders on time as possible. So that's what it did. It made a recommendation to me. Now, it's just a recommendation. I can still come in, grab the move tool, and start moving things around and try to adjust it as I would see fit. And then once I'm done, I simply come through and publish this, and it's going to go and update all of my production order operations with those new dates so that I have a visibility in NAV, not just through the scheduling board, as far as when things need to start, when are they going to complete, and that kind of information. So then I can use NAV and the power of NAV's reporting mechanisms and visibility tools to make that information powerful and presentable to other people within the organization. So great scheduling tool here. I don't want to spend a ton more time on it. Just wanted to let you know that there's a lot of capability. We didn't even go through the other tabs as far as analysis view and viewing things by a production order rather than by a machine. But there's a lot more capability packed in behind this thing. I would love to go through it with you. But we'll have to take that to a different session. So by all means, ask questions about it. I'll answer what I can today, but realize that this is a really powerful, really big tool, and I'd love to take that to another session with you and go through your details in more detail. Okay, so that is the visual drag and drop scheduling tool. Hope you enjoyed it. I think it's a really cool feature for NAV 2013. It is also available for 2009 R2 and SP1, but that's the end of it. So if you're on older versions than that, it could be a nice way to motivate people to upgrade and get on the more robust 2013 version of NAV. Okay, so we've talked about Business Snapshot, Word Wrap, and Visual Drag and Drop. Now we're going to move into pop-up notes. And pop-up notes is, again, one of those tools where you can add it to an existing database. If you're brand new to NAV or considering it, it's a great product to start with if it fits your needs. So it's not for everybody. It's very specific, but it's an upsell and reminder tool. So to give you an example of that, let's just run through one in the system. Okay, so I'm going to create a new sales document, and I'm talking to a client on the phone, and he's interested in ordering some products. So I'm going to key in his account information. Lets me know that he has a credit limit check. I'm going to say that's okay, and then the note's going to pop up. And so we keyed in customer number 30,000. So a note displays that says customer 30,000 has only one authorized buyer, and that's Jim Williams. So I know instantly that if I'm not talking to Jim Williams from this company, I'm not going to be able to process this order. That's not an authorized buyer. I'm going to have to go and say, well, is Jim Williams available to authorize this purchase? So that's a way of giving power to the people who are processing information and entering in information so that they can make sure your clients stay happy and you're following the rules that they set in place. So now this is for a sales document and a customer. You see that that's a vendor/customer number. So if this was a purchase document and I'm reaching out to a vendor, maybe I have information saying, well, the only person who knows when product will be delivered is Mark Scott. And if Mark's not on the phone with me, I can't really trust the information they're telling me as far as when the product should be delivered to me. So little reminder tools that you want to have popped up. Now we're just looking at it right now for the customer. And I can control where the information goes. Now obviously when it's a customer, it defaults in for customer comment. But this is where that comment is going to go. So if I go ahead and say close, that comment is gone. Now if I go and look at the comments, only authorized buyer is Jim Williams. So it wrote that comment to the sales order header comment field. So that's where it wrote it to. And there's Word Wrap. We talked about that earlier. I have access to that again from here. So that is stored. I can always look there. There are other ways of popping up pop-up notes that you've closed out of before as well. So now I'm going to keep keying it in. I happen to be talking to Jim Williams. He wants to buy a side panel. So I'm going to key in a side panel and tab over, and then I get another pop-up note. So side panel has two notes. One for just the generic item. Any customer that orders a side panel sees the note. See if client also wants a new base, item 7001. So that is an upsell reminder. So if someone's buying a side panel, they're probably interested in a base. That example may not make sense to you because you don't sell side panels or base, but maybe product A and product B make sense to you. So whatever it is, it's an upsell tool, and you control how it gets displayed again. Okay, so in this case, sales lines, if we're purchasing it, purchase line as well, you control where it gets displayed. The second note related to item 70,000 also relates to customer 30,000. So you can have item/customer specific requirements. So it's a combination of the two. Same thing, item vendor comments, where if you get a certain price break for an item from a vendor, you want to know about that. So a discount in this case for sales, a discount when buying 5 or more. So where he may be ordering 2, maybe I can talk him into buying 5 because he's going to get a little bit of a discount. So those are little upsell tools and reminders that you can then empower your sales order processors, your purchasing agents, to give them more information without having to actually drill down to the item to find that information. It's a very quick pop-up reminder once it's done. Now in this case, both of these lines are going to be written onto the sales comment line. So I'm going to go ahead and close, and you can now see that those comments are shown forever. I didn't have to do that. I have it set so that those two lines get written out. So now that's in there on that sales document. When I print it, if I have the line comments printing on the report, it'll show there as well. So that's informational for me. Now if I didn't have it print, I can still always get back to it. So I can come down to say pop-up notes, and then I can access those notes again. So just different ways of viewing information. Let me just open up the actual note card so you can see it. A pop-up note is simple in the idea, but very powerful in what it can provide for you. So in this case, entry number is 1. That's just a sequential number. So this is the first one I happen to enter, so that was kind of lucky. But it's for an item. So because it's for an item, the vendor customer information is grayed out, and the line type knows it's an item, so that's grayed out as well. So the next key information is the item 70,000. So again, this note already exists, but when you're creating new notes, this is what you go through. You simply select, oh, it's an item. You put in what item it relates to. You type in what comment you want to make as a note, and it's going to then display that note every time that item is used. Now that's assuming it's within the effective date and before the expiration date. So if you have sales of products that come up and you want your sales representatives to offer a 15% discount on a product to maybe get more of it sold before the year end, you can set an effective date and an expiration date. So if it's the first of the year, that is expired. You don't want that note to pop up anymore. Well, it's gone. It's hidden, so it will not pop up if it's beyond the expiration date. Same with effective date. It will not pop up if that effective date is out in the future and it's not within the time scale for that. And then you control other things. So if I'm on a sales document or a service document, I want the upsell reminder to pop up. If I'm purchasing it, I don't want to upsell myself on something, so I don't need it to pop up on the purchase document. But you control those features. You also control where it gets inserted. So in my case, the sales extended text area. Header comments is for customer information. And then you can choose where it prints. So if it prints on a quote, pick ticket, order confirmation. Now you use these when you're not using the sales line extended text, because the extended text is going to control the printing at that point. So those are different options. You can suppress it. So if there's some purchasing agents in the room and you're used to the requisition process creating a bunch of POs, you do not want those purchase orders to pop up 50 notes for the 50 POs you just created. So you can choose to suppress that so that you don't have to click through a bunch of notes when the system auto-generates purchase orders. And then you can always go and review them on the purchase document itself. And then the last little tab on here is the tracking. So I want to know who created it, who was the last person to modify it, when did they create it, when did they modify it, that sort of information. Now I'm viewing it for a single note, and if I'm entering a note by note, I can do that by all means. So I can enter each customer's notes and each vendor's notes and all the items and their related notes. But I also have a facility in this, and we can take this to another session as well, where I can enter in all of the note information for all items. So I want every single item that I sell to have a specific note that's going to pop up. Or I want every customer within a certain range to have a notification or a pop-up reminder happen. So I can enter those in bulk as well instead of just doing it one at a time. Now you'll enter a lot one at a time, but we do allow for the multi-note insert as well. So that's a look at pop-up notes. Again, great product. Goes in. If you're working with a cost control partner already, reach out to them, let them know, hey, I'm interested in pop-up notes. They'll get in contact with us, and we'll work it out with you. We can set up an additional meeting, follow up, and go through anything that we covered today in more detail. If you're working with a partner and they're not already affiliated with us, still reach out to them, let them contact us. Make sure you bring us in the loop, so maybe copy us on that contact so that we can reach out to them and keep that ball rolling. so that you can get some of these great products. Okay, so those are a look at our add-on features. So at that point, I'm going to wrap up myself talking. I want to hear from you. I want to see the Q&A questions come in. And as those come in, I'll address each of them. I'll stay on the line for another 10-15 minutes, however long it takes to get through all the questions. Please utilize me as much as possible. I do want you to ask questions and learn more about these products. So hopefully you'll get a good understanding of what we've talked about today. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll again post this webinar replay up on our website.